Fellow nerds, we are talking Loki Season 2 trailer that just dropped today. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have a good old time like we always do.
Some of us like it. Some maybe not. Who knows?
You'll have to watch and find out, I guess. So if you're
Yeah,
out there,
we'll find
stick
out.
around.
Momentarily, we will.
Next video.
Move along, please.
Now we're going to watch the beginning of this and then we'll talk about it. We're going to do things a little different. Normally we just play it and talking, but we're going to try to break it out in chunks and then talk about it after. So please be patient with my
New
I'm going to try
format.
this. Yeah.
Okay, we're
Hello?
back.
Attack on show.
We have a little bit of a situation we wanted to run by
We're
you.
back.
Mobius! Wow! Great to see you again! That's
Back in the
what's been
TVA
happening.
groove.
Wow! Time slipping.
Wait,
See, that should have been
Time,
played by
you
Ezra
know
Miller
that?
right there.
Yeah,
You've seen that.
yeah.
Can you fix that?
No. It's impossible to time slip in the TVA.
I know, but we just saw it happen.
Yeah.
You know,
So we watched that. Go
I
ahead.
couldn't hear it.
I love the design of the TVA. I love how like old fashioned everything looks. And by old fashioned I mean stuff that you guys knew from your childhood, and I am so sorry.
Well, I mean, it does open with Mobius and not Morbius, Dave, settle down. Mobius and Loki going into Obi's office, and that's a short round from Temple of Doom, which Doug is never going to watch again in fear that it may not be as good as he remembers. But I like it because he's like an inventor for the TVA, and supposedly he is the person who invented everything that the TVA uses. And if you remember, his character in the Goonies was an inventor, which I thought was kind of nice. And then we learn that Loki is time slipping. I'm assuming it's because he's not in his proper universe or timeline or whatever. It reminded me a little bit of Into the Spider-Verse. And
I was
Across the
just
Spider-
gonna say that. Did it remind you of the glitching? Because that's the first thought that I had when I saw him doing that. I'm like, whoa, this must just be like they've decided this is just a multiversal thing. When you're not in your universe, you tend to like glitch out and maybe you slip between universes.
Who's writing this? Do we know who's writing this season? Or is it an episode?
I
by
did, but I
episode?
can't
A bunch of
remember it.
writers.
Because this is another Marvel gets a lot of writers from Rick and Morty. This is another thing they did on Rick and Morty when they were in the wrong universe.
Mhm.
They flashed for a few seconds and pow, and went back to their universe. Could be like the same thing. Same idea.
And I just want to say the CGI looks tremendous on the time slipping. It looks so
Better
good.
than
I was
the
like, all
Flash?
right. Well, nothing's better than the Flash. Let's settle down.
Let's kid ourselves here.
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe they heard about like all the work that was going into the Flash, all the money they were spending. Like, guys, we have got to get those CG artists. We need to get them on Loki. We need to get them to. And then they saw the movie. Never mind.
Yeah.
And I
heard that
love
Tom
the
Cruise
banter.
has already seen this season, and he said it was excellent.
Stephen King just tweeted. He said Loki season 2 surpasses the first.
Don't you mean he just X'd?
Yeah,
No, I
he
refuse to
X'd
call it
that
that.
out.
But I love the banter between Obi and Mobius too.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what it is? Oh yeah. Can you fix it? No. I thought we couldn't time slip into CVA.
You
Yeah.
can't. Well, we just saw it happen.
I wonder.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll say this at the end, I guess. I'll wait.
So should we move on to the next clip?
Sure, we will.
I've been pulled through time between
Okay.
the past
Pause
and
it
the present.
real quick. Go back to Okay. I just want to say this real quick because you know how my memory works. Did you guys notice where he just time slipped in front of?
Yeah, the Piranha.
Power Sports.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
With-
ask you. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's got to be a reference to Mobius, right? It's got to be because of his love of
Sea
what do you call them?
Jet skis.
Jet skis.
Jet
Yes.
skis.
See, my brain time slipped.
If you look at the picture closely, it looks like Mobius is talking to the guy, like he's going to be buying one.
Oh,
Kind of looks like it.
oh, I missed that. Okay.
Got this all set up on my phone.
If what I saw is true, there's nothing to stand between this world and utter destruction.
I love that he's just pruning this, just destroying the TVA.
Yeah,
They pruned
well,
it so you could see Kang's face.
Mm-hmm.
right. And I wonder, I saw that scene and I was thinking about it. I wonder if he's in this new universe, if you remember at the end of Loki season 1, and they're like, who are you? What division are you with? I bet he is like, hey, I can prove to you the timekeepers aren't real. I bet we see a scene where he goes down. You saw the head of one of the timekeepers on the floor there. I bet he almost recreates that scene from the first season. It's like, look, they're not real. Cuts her head off and then takes that pruning rod and
Probably.
reveals the Kang behind it.
Most likely that's how he gets Mobius to like believe him, and that leads up to the scene that we saw at the end of Quantumania, where
Yep.
they're working together again.
Yep, they're back in the past with, Victor Timely.
Vic-
But I like, too,
Victor Timely.
did you see the cameo in that little portion of it?
Yep.
No,
Are you sure that you saw the one I'm talking about?
Maybe.
no.
John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic when Sylvie's
Oh
taking
no,
that
I
record
didn't
apart.
see that.
I'm joking. The record is being like strung out. It looks like spaghetti. My notes say, looks like Mr. Fantastic. Ayo!
Oh!
Too soon.
Yeah.
No, it's been plenty of time.
My
Doug.
apologies to Sue Richards, Franklin.
From 838.
Ben
sorry.
Grimm, most of all.
But I like too, we kind of get at the beginning of this, he says, I have been pulled through time. I am being pulled through time, the past and the present. And we actually see him come into like a room where another Loki, it looks just like him. So I'm assuming it's maybe him. He's reading like a TVA manual. And if you notice in the shot, as soon as he starts time slipping away, the other Loki like looks at him. So he's probably like, oh, what's that all about? Or that already happened to him. He's like, oh, there I am. Okay, I knew it was coming at some point.
That would be funny if in an episode, if they had like they started the episode with like Loki thumbing through the manual, and then all of a sudden another Loki time slips in, and then we don't think about it until like the end of the episode, and all of a sudden he's like, all right, here we go, we're gonna solve this, and then he time slips and he goes back, and we go back to the beginning of the episode. That would be like the perfect time loop of an I've already figured out what the second episode is going to be.
Doug, you're already ruining Loki because
I
that's
know, I'm
better
spoiling
than
it.
anything. No, that's better than anything they're going to do. Now we're all going to be disappointed.
And
Oh,
how many
no.
episodes?
Only one way to find out. A little good old-fashioned legwork. Listen, we have different styles. You're a man of action, which is fine. I take a more slow, deliberate, cerebral approach.
Key lime
It's
pie.
really good pie.
Good, yeah, that looks delicious.
That key lime pie does look delicious, and it's funny.
It does.
My one note I put, because when he says, I have a slow, more cerebral approach, really good pie. I think that's a Twin Peaks reference. If you remember Twin Peaks, they're always like, damn good cherry pie.
Mm.
So I'm like,
Never
I wonder what
watched
that
it.
is. You're missing out, sir. A wonderful show. But when they first start on that little scene we showed, you notice he's hitting the bottom button. So that's either one of two things in my mind. That's either going to Obi's lab, you see at the beginning, or it's going to where the timekeepers are, so he can show them that none of this is real, you guys. This is all run by, Kang. It's not the timekeepers. It's all fake. I thought that was a nice little touch. Trailer tricky, trying to make us think that it's probably Obi's.
Something different.
All of
And then we
that,
hear,
everything we saw in that trailer could have happened in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. And I like that because he's like a little legwork, and then we see what looks like
And then we see him kicking it.
the Chicago Fair from like 1909 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's where we see Victor Timely from the Quantum Mania post-credit scene, and then later on in this trailer. Then coming October 6th.
It's up to us to save this place.
Is this crack?
Okay, I really like the way that Sylvie looks so far. In what we're seeing of her, different look to her. It kind of looks like she's using her, Loki-ish powers to sort of, become somebody else. I don't know if she just didn't know what to do after she killed He Who Remains, and she was just like, well, I guess I can make a life for myself now that he's gone or whatever. But it looked like in that one scene she was, before that we saw earlier, she was working in a record store. Then in another one, she's working at like a fast food place or whatever, like a McDonald's or something. And so it kind of looks like she's just trying to lay low and just chill, just be a regular person, have a regular job or whatever.
And we see Hunter B-15 too, just like kind of in normal clothes. Like they're both maybe after the events of season 1. These are, Loki's universes, because we see
Right.
B-15 too in the other one. They're just trying to lay low and maybe figure out what's going on.
Or their
in your
variants.
case, or their variants, yeah. Because Sylvie did have 5 stars on her McDonald's badge. So she's doing
So
she's
she's
doing
on
some
time 5 days in a row.
she's doing some wonderful customer service.
Good job. You didn't stab anybody today.
Whatever we do,
So I noticed that, like, you notice how like the TVA is like falling apart. Is that because of the splitting timelines, or do you think that's something that Loki is doing?
I don't know, and I wanted, it's you see, like, it looks like they're trying to fix the timeline in that one part. Like they have a machine hooked up to it, like they're trying to contain it, and they have some way, like when Mobius gets the duct tape on his suit so he can go out. When I saw that, I was like, oh, are they trying to fix the timeline? Because
That's
what it looked
what
like
I
it was
think they must be
containing.
trying to do. Either
And maybe-
either fix it or just like I don't know, make it less bad or something. Because that scene, if you go back to where he's walking out in the spacesuit, did you see how crazy and chaotic the timeline looked? Like it almost looked like a jet stream. Like it had branched out so much that it was just like flying all over the place. Like it was
That's
worse than what it looked like before. Look at that. It looks like a literal rocket.
Oh,
But
and
it's
we
all
got Dark
twisted up.
Sage 9117. I'm going to give an unpopular opinion on the MCU, but as a hardcore fan of comics, I stand by the stake.
Okay.
So give us your
Go for
take,
it.
sir. We're open
Let's
for
hear
it.
it.
And Sierra's there. Sierra, good to
Hey,
see
hey.
you. But wow. Oh,
Oh,
guess who's got
jeez.
Infinity Stones?
Infinity Stones. Oh boy.
Oh no. You hear some
let's,
voices tonight.
Watch some more of
we're playing God.
We are gods.
Oh, and having commenced.
They got all the
And-
horns there.
this. Well, I love that scene because she's like, we're playing gods. Obviously, probably a little distraught from what she did at the end of season 1, killing He Who Remains and taking that into her hands and probably not want to live up to it. I love Loki, just as cocky as ever. We are gods. Leading right into the scene where you see in the shadows their horns coming up, like those horned helmets, which is fantastic. Up, and we've got 5 minutes of Gilbert Godfrey. Thanks so much, Sierra. Everyone has missed it so bad. But
start the
what are
timer?
we? I did. The timer's running. It's at 4:48, Dave. Show some patience, for God's sake. It hasn't
up yet?
even been a minute.
Is it over yet?
But it is so cool that they're finally getting the horned helmets back. we get cocky Loki saying we are gods. And throughout this trailer, he's showing his powers off. I was so happy to see it.
Sure.
You know,
That makes
I don't
fun of
have
us.
to talk for the whole 5 minutes. You
Yeah, you do.
guys,
It's been so long. You have to
No,
go
Keith.
the whole time.
It's what our audience demands.
You give them what they want, Keith.
well,
Oh.
maybe it's time for the next clip.
That sounds about
Wait.
right.
Sierra says she still hasn't seen it fully. Well, you're
What,
about to.
the trailer?
Yeah,
Well, hey, guess what? You are now.
that's what we're doing.
We'll play the whole thing after we go through this again.
But how do you choose?
Okay, so I've got a thought on it.
Dice.
And again,
Time
that
comes.
goes back to, what we witnessed when the TV was literally falling off the ceiling, that line that says time is running out. Does that mean that the timeline, which used to be, continuous, as he who remains said at the end of season 1, he's like, basically, yeah, you can go and kill me, but I'm going to end up right back here where I started. Basically implying that time is circular. It's going to keep repeating itself. It doesn't matter what you do. But does that mean that something has happened so catastrophic that it's actually broken that continuous timeline, and it's not like time is literally falling apart and therefore the TVA is coming apart?
That's what it sounded like to me, because it does say the timeline is running out. Like, they've got so much time and they're going to be gone. And that'll bring about the circular time with He Who Remains was talking about. See you soon. Because it's going to be another multiversal war. He Who Remains is going to win and be back at the TVA, and everything will be, once again, the sacred timeline. Definitely seems like that. And then we see a lot of the characters from season 1. We see Hunter B-15 in a different outfit than we saw earlier. We see Casey. Hopefully he brought some Infinity Stones with him. And then we see Ravonna Renslayer, who, and then you hear Loki kind of over talking, why, who we deciding who should live and who should die. Well, you keep saying you're a god. Those are choices that, gods are probably going to make. And then when we get back to this, one of my favorite scenes in the trailers coming up.
Make the hard choice. It's him.
You better run!
War is on its way.
With
Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes turning into a ghost. Boo.
Did it look like a Pac-Man ghost to you?
It
It
did.
did.
Okay,
It
good.
did. It
'Cause-
looked like something out of Cuphead, basically.
Yes. I was dying laughing when she's like, you better run. I was like, that might be my favorite scene in the entire trailer.
Yeah, I love that they are really pushing Miss Minutes. I feel like they underestimated how much people would love her in the first season, and so you'd see her here and there popping up, but it seems like they're really utilizing her in this season. I've seen her all over the advertisements and everything. A lot of the marketing has Miss Minutes in it, and it seems like she's going to be a much bigger character in season 2. Almost like she's a direct minion of Kang.
Yeah.
You know what?
I
kinda
think she's
grateful.
working directly for Kang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm kind of great. I'm grateful that Jonathan Majors was able to solve his problem so we could still get this Kang.
You're right.
He does do a good job.
And even him just saying, he's like, make the hard choice, which I know isn't towards Loki after him saying, we got to decide who lives and dies. But it was well placed in his trailer, and just, he's a tremendous actor. And it's nice. And then at the end, we hear war is in its way, obviously talking about a multiversal war. And then I love that car coming through the window has a little Miss Minutes that says, thank you for your service on it. Oh, my time's up. I wasn't even doing Gilbert. So I owe you more
Oh.
Gilbert. I totally
Yeah.
forgot to do it.
Yeah, like a minute and a half or something.
I heard the timer go off and I'm like, what's that for?
You immediately forgot.
Whoops. I'm old.
That's okay. I wasn't even
We haven't
thinking.
done it in so long.
Well, it's like we've been living inside the TVA. You know, none of the Infinity Stones worked.
That's right. That's right.
We got a bunch of these. They don't do anything.
Come on, you're the god of mischief.
Yeah, see,
Always have been.
the scene that
Always
Loki
will be.
saw as he was looking out onto everything, it just literally looked like everything was kind of coming apart.
And, you know, once again, we see, you know, I love, you know, Mobius is like, you're the god of mischief. And he's like knocking people around. He's like, and we see Loki like blowing people from the TVA like away. So he's really showing how powerful he is and showing he is, you know, a god of the, you know, Marvel universe, you know, not as powerful as Thanos. And then his cocky little phrase, always have been, always will be. And that was just awesome. Tom Hiddleston is tremendous.
He
He's
is.
not as powerful as Gaia anymore. Gaia's the most powerful being.
She's the most powerful. You know, my nephew brought up something when we were at his brother's birthday party yesterday. In She-Hulk, the finale, they were talking about, oh, what are we going to have? Just another CGI battle to end the show? And then the next show after that, the finale was just
It's a giant CGI battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That thankfully was incredibly short, like way shorter than any normal big boss battle is. It was just like, hey, we're gonna grow big arms and swing at each other for like 2 minutes, and okay, we're done.
Even though we have the same powers, I bested you quickly.
Right. I'm just like, oh, that was it.
Well, this isn't about that. This is about Loki. Let's talk
That's
about
right.
Loki.
I'm
That's right.
sorry. I
got the-
didn't get a chance to vent with you two.
A little over the top, don't you think?
I thought it was spot on.
Oh, she's all the Lokis.
You know, in that final scene, it was just, we got a little, you know, a little over the top, don't you think? You know, I thought it was spot on. Then we
I wonder
see,
now. This is what I was going to say. I wonder if the end of this is going to lead into Deadpool because Mobius is in Deadpool.
I would put big money on a post-credit scene or something in the last episode leading into Mobius going, we've got some variants running wild in the multiverse, and I got to go corral them.
Some mutant variants.
Yes.
Very many of them.
Well, Deadpool's not a mutant.
No, but Wolverine is, and just about all the other
Wait,
X-Men they're going to bring in. that movie
Deadpool's
are.
not considered a mutant?
No.
He was experimentation.
Yep.
Uh,
He just hangs out with the mutants.
Wait, so what gives him his power?
He was
His,
experimented on by the Weapon X people.
By the Weapon
Yeah.
X people. They experimented on him. Maybe
His
I'm
power is the
misunderstanding,
healing
but
factor.
in the movie, they said their experiments were meant to awaken his mutant gene, his latent mutant gene.
That is what it said in the movie, but that's not how.
But in
it
the
was
comics, that's
announced.
not what it is. In the
Nope.
comics, it was just science and no explanation further, and we just experiments, hence powers.
They
Cool.
basically gave him a lot of like Logan's. They tried to
What-
give him his powers through genetic
Yeah, what powers is he
mutation.
But
talking
Logan
about,
the
though?
mutant they gave him genetic powers from Logan the
powers?
mutant.
Are
Yes,
you
but he's
talking
not a
about-
mutant.
Okay,
His only power
Got
is his
it.
healing factor. The rest of it is his skills.
which
from
is not a mutant power at all. It's magic, obviously.
what, the healing power. Him
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's
Spider-Man.
healing power. It must be.
That's all
Okay,
he's got.
we're
because everything
definitely
else,
getting
his
off
fighting
track.
his fighting skills are, from the army or whatever.
Look, I will nerd you guys up, okay? I'm gonna nerd you so hard.
Whoa. But getting back to the end of this trailer, we see Loki falling at one point, someone in a lifeboat. Maybe it's Titanic. Probably too soon. Then we see Loki and Mobius at VD's. Then we see that one, I think he's an actor. He's in an earlier scene, and we see him kind of fighting with Loki and Sylvie. He's in a rectangle, like in a time sphere, or not sphere. It's a time bubble. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's like they
And then at
froze
the end,
him.
we see, and then we see Loki and Sylvie using their powers together. And then that's kind of the end. And I mean, I know, Dave, you weren't very impressed with this. I mean, I loved the first season of Loki, so I am very excited that it's
How
coming
can you
back,
be?
and it looks like it is well done.
But how can you be after everything they put out recently that looked good in the previews, and then you see the show and it's just been, you know what I mean?
Well, this is a season 2 of a show
can
I
make a
enjoyed
hell
the
of a
first.
trailer. Huh?
They can. I said, well, this is season 2 of a show I enjoyed the first season of. So as long as they keep it going that way, and yes, Sierra thinks it looks awesome, and they can't mess it up. Well, they could.
Well,
But
now,
let's
come on.
hope. Let's hope
That's
they
a
don't.
challenge that they will take.
I was just about to say that, Dave. Bob Iger sitting there. Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
Quick,
they-
scrap the last 3 episodes. We're reshooting.
Yeah, reshoots starting now.
Get me Tom.
Yeah, I wasn't a
And Tom-
big fan of the first season, as you guys know. It was like a 5 or a 6 for me. I don't remember what I rated it, but I wasn't over that thrilled with it. And now, like everything, like I was so excited for the last one. That we
Mhm.
all, for Secret Invasion, and it just fell flat.
Dave, special invasion.
Special Invasion, yes, indeed. Special
So I'm going to
sauce.
be honest. The trailers that we saw for Special Invasion, I don't think they looked that great. And I'm not just saying that because like I wasn't hyped for it. I'm just saying like nothing really jumped out about those trailers. I'd say the only thing that kind of got me when we were reviewing that trailer was the scene where Nick is sitting in that cafeteria with all of the gravici.
No, that was Talos.
That was Talos.
Talos. Right. Oh, that's what it was. Yes, all the Taloses. But yeah, I think that was like one
No,
of the
it was
only
Talos sitting with all the graphics.
Talos sitting with all the Yes, it was a person sitting with a bunch of other people. That was like the only scene that kind of like jumped out at me in the trailer. Everything else just kind of seemed so blah. So like I don't know, like
Well, then you
just
did get
nothing
the whole gist of the show.
jumped at me. And then when I watched the show, I was kind of like, yeah, that's about what I expected. Like, I mean, I really hoped it was going to be good. And then blah. But with this, I'm seeing the trailer for Loki season 2 and I'm like, I'm getting high expectations because it does look legitimately good. And I also really enjoyed season 1 and I thought it was really good. So I'm hoping that they can at least be as good as season 1. It'd be great if it was better, but I'm not going to push my hope any further than that.
Yeah, if it's better, that'll be fantastic. And my hope with this, because I agree with Dave, I thought the Secret Invasion trailers looked great. I was so pumped up for that show. And it looked like they had such a great vibe in the trailers. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And it was the most predictable, dull show that Marvel has ever done. So I'm hoping, this is really going to kick kind of the multiversal war off. And it's going to really start bringing everything together. And we'll see this purpose leading forward. But
That'd be nice.
with all the projects coming out, I don't know if that's even possible because you got, Captain America, Brave New World. You got Daredevil. You got Agatha, Coven of Chaos. You got Deadpool.
Which is the only really have Agatha, Coven of Chaos?
We do have it, yes.
Do we have to have it?
Well, I mean, I'm sure the writer's strike is going to slow down a bunch of stuff. This might be pushed off to 2027 for all we know.
Well, Agatha is one of the things that has done filming. So obviously they can't do reshoots and they can't do, anything until the strikes are over. But Agatha will come out sooner than some of the other things that had to stop filming, like Deadpool stopped filming, Daredevil Born Again stopped filming. The biggest break in my heart, Wonder Man stopped filming. So, nothing is filming right now.
The new Ghostbusters sequel got pushed now to March.
And I know Dave is I know he's been craving his Craven the Hunter movie, but that was pushed back to. That was pushed back to August 2024. So Craven
no!
is almost a year away. Which, after seeing that trailer, I'm not too disappointed.
You know what they should do in that time? They should rewrite the whole movie, recast it, and redo it. That's what they should do.
They should
I'm on board
maybe,
with that.
you know, make Craven a Spider-Man villain and have him just appear as a side character in a Spider-Man movie.
They should
The
make
way
a
he
whole
was
Spider-Man
intended.
movie with Andrew Garfield starring,
Do it.
and then have Craven be in it.
I would be so okay with that.
They have time. They have a year to do
Most
that
people
now.
would be super okay with that. Like I don't know what they're thinking with this. Like
We need to see a background story.
makes no sense. And you notice this is very similar to what they did with Morbius. Like we did a trailer breakdown, and I think we did a theory palooza all before the pandemic. So we were talking about this at our old studio in like I think 2019. And then Morbius didn't come out until 2022.
No, it was before last year. No, it was after the pandemic, though, right? So
Yeah, because
No,
we
it
saw it in
was.
theaters. I want to say it was last year. It wasn't this year, was it? No, it wasn't. It was last year.
No, it was last year.
No, I've been hearing crap about Morbius for over a year now. So
It only
What do you
feels
mean
that
you're
way,
hearing
Dave.
crap? We're just retelling your rating for it back to you.
a 5. It was a 5. I gave it
But
a 5.
You
Well,
notice though
let's
that
be honest about one thing, Dave. How often is your rating the highest that a movie
Never.
gets from us three? One time.
Never. Yeah. All right. I think a year and a half is a good good amount of time for that. Go ahead, Doug.
But-
What were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
well, I mean, you notice the length of time that they had right before when they dropped the trailer, and then the amount of time that passed. Now, granted, yes, there was an entire pandemic. There was a reason why they couldn't actually put it in theaters, but they also come like 2020, 2021 when theaters began to open back up. They also didn't put it in theaters. I mean, there was like plenty of time to like rework a few things that maybe needed fixed up. They did not. They just said it's good.
But
Jared
that's-
Leto approves.
That's the problem with Sony's management. They don't
Yeah.
really understand. Like, probably any person you talk to would be like, an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film with Craven the Hunter as the villain? I would see it
No.
opening weekend. Do you see anyone going, a movie? A Craven the Hunter movie?
Who?
Spider-Man in it? No?
Why would I
Why
see
are
that?
you
then?
why are you doing that? You know, Sony execs are like, oh man, we're gonna make that villain money.
Yeah.
Did you not learn from
We're-
Morbius?
We're gonna be printing our own money. Yes, sir.
Oh my
And
God,
this-
it's going to be Venom all over again.
Spider-Man is not it, but Spider's Man is it? Remember Spider's Man?
I would love Spiders, man. They need to make that a horror movie because the sentient hive mind of spiders that ate Peter Parker and then thinks they are Peter Parker. Beautiful. Oh my God, please do that, Sony. Make that a horror movie. I would go and see that multiple times. Even if it was like weirdly bad, I would go see it because just the laughable idea that you had some CGI artist create a billion spiders and form them into a human, it just sounds great.
Don't you mean CGI AI artist?
Right. Sorry. Yeah, that would be
These-
Sony is already doing that. They're breaking the law because
These CEOs are only making like 30 million a year. They've got to feed their families, Doug.
I'm constantly reminded of that South Park episode where the boys illegally downloaded like a Metallica song, and this police detective was taking them around to all the stars. Do you see so and so? He was going to buy a second yacht, and now he can't. Look at this.
South Park is always on the nose, aren't they?
Right.
Jeez.
Look at this artist over here. Now they have to vacation in Malibu instead of South Beach.
They can't go to Saint Tropez every 6 months. They have to go
Right.
every 9 months now.
It's like these minor inconvenient, and the boys are just like, "Oh no, I can't believe we're hurting them. We'll buy all of their music."
It's all crap. It's all crap.
But now, Chuck, make the same argument with these movie execs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the big time writers and the big time actors who are making millions upon millions. It's the the writers who are working 40 hours a week every week and not making a living wage. Those people, and it's I think we talked about this on the last stream. I don't remember. The
I don't know. I
writers
didn't watch
and actors have struck the last few times. It's always been about residuals from a new medium.
Right.
First it was VHS. Oh, well, we're not giving you residuals from that. It's not in the contract. They struck, they got it. And then it was like Blu-rays or something. And now it's streaming. The studios, they don't know who is the true talent in what they put out. It's not the executives. It's the writers, it's the directors, it's the actors. Without them, they don't have a studio. And I'm not saying, you break the bank and you got to pay everybody so much that you go out of business. But when you can pay, your CEOs $30 million base salary and then more with things, you could shell out an extra couple million spread out against all these people to give them a living wage. Because honestly, if they make enough money and they're comfortable, they're probably going to better writing, more time to think about it, more, take greater pride in it. So they're only hurting themselves by this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a certain group of channels that we don't watch because they're so negative. And actually, one of them creeped through to my feed on YouTube the other day, and it was Disparu. I don't know if you've ever seen that channel, but he was arguing the other side, the CEO's side. Like this is a perfect time to get rid of all the writers because everything you're doing is crap, and they don't deserve the money. And I was like, who is this guy? You got to be on the side of labor. What's the matter with you?
Was he saying it like, man, the MCU is terrible. So
Probably.
Every writer sucks in the history of time.
He has said, hey, I don't like the She-Hulk show either, but I still think that the writers deserve to get paid for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm. And look, not every single writer that is on strike contributed to that one show that you didn't like. There are plenty of good writers that make great stories, amazing films, amazing TV shows. Like, come on, man.
Well, and I was reading too. One of the issues that they have is, before you would, they would just be like, we have a project, we're going to hire you to write a treatment, and they've kind of stopped doing that. Now they're like, well, if you want this job, present your treatment for what you want to do, and then we'll decide. So, they're even losing money that way. Instead of being paid to write the treatment, they're like, oh, send it to us when you're done. And then, so they have to do all of this work not being paid just to get it looked at, a possibility of having a job. Which, I mean, if someone told me, hey, could you write some user stories and get all this stuff ready for a software sprint? And then if you do a good job, we'll hire you. I'd be like, yeah, no thanks. I'll go somewhere that's going to pay me to do the same thing. So,
yeah.
But hey, let's get back to the Loki trailer a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because
I love that we're on tangent time when we're talking about Loki. Ooh,
Nice.
But a few things, I think Dave really hit the nail on the head with because about a Deadpool Mobius sort of post-credit scene to this season, because that's the next big multiversal type thing that's coming up in the MCU, because the Marvels isn't going to be, multiversal. What else? Echo's not going to be multiversal. And that's it.
That's all we got before next year, I think.
Yeah, I think that's about it. But I mean, there's obviously not. Oh yeah, Echo, Marvels. So obviously, the best way to lead into something would be that. So let's hope they actually handle that. But we kind of hit on it. But let's talk hype levels, and people out in the chat let us know, because, I mean, I was pretty hyped for this show prior to seeing this. Just even seeing the posters from the other day. But this really got me going. I think it was really well put together. It looked like, Doug was talking about it at the beginning. It has that same feel for the TVA, like back in my childhood with Intellivision and Ataris, and the events of the first season seem to be impacting what's going on here. So I have pretty high hopes, but I won't disagree with Dave. I also had high hopes after the Secret Invasion stuff, and that did not turn out well. But here's hoping Loki does.
So what's your hype level?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, what is Keith's hype level on the Doug scale?
On the Doug scale, it's probably about an 8.
Interesting. Okay. Dougie?
I am keeping my hype tempered. I know better than to get too overly excited. That it's burned me in the past, man. Where I've gotten too excited about something and then I get really disappointed by it. So I am going to halt my hype level at about a 7. I'm going to say that I'm not going to let it go past that. I wanted to let it go up to an 8, the nice infinity symbol, really mesh with our whole time theme, but I had to pump the brakes a little bit. I had to think about it. I'm like, I saw the Marvels trailer. Doesn't look good. Didn't like Special Ed Invasion. Didn't really.
Did you just call it Special Ed Invasion?
Yeah.
You call it Special Investigation is what it's called.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's even better. Special Investigation. Why don't you have a seat? Why don't you have a seat right over there? Why don't you sit down? What is in the bag? With just all the powers of all the superheroes ever. Who's that? What's that for? What are you gonna do with that? I'm gonna inject it. I'm gonna be super power, super scroll.
Okay.
I got a machine that's gonna take those in, know who they are, and then give it to us.
In just the right way that it won't hurt us at all. And then
Right.
I'm going to destroy the machine afterwards, so I'm the only one.
And when did you build and test this out? Off screen.
Yeah. Yeah. We
And
don't
it's
want to
going
cover
to
that.
instantly also show us how to use all these powers.
Yeah. No
You need
adjustment
no
necessary.
time practice. And I think my favorite was them showing a Drax arm with his tattoos, because that was part of his DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that was just like the dumbest way to be like, we are not paying another CGI artist to redo the scene. We're literally going to, okay, magic wand symbol in Photoshop, copy, paste, done.
Done.
Thank you, James Gunn.
Good enough. Just send it out.
Right? I mean, my God, just oh boy.
Well, how about you, Dave? What is your hype level after seeing since you didn't enjoy season 1?
Mm-hmm. Season 1 for me was like a 5. And there's nothing wrong with the trailer either. The trailer gives it a good amount of hype, but I can't get excited about it just for the same reasons I listed earlier. Is that I was so excited for Special Investigation, and and the
It's not gonna not make me laugh.
the few shows before that just kind of, they were limping back to the barn with those, so I'm not gonna get hyped about this. I'm gonna stay at a 5. If it surprises me, great, but I'm not thinking this is gonna be any better than any of the other ones.
And don't forget to hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.